Okay, the main news this week is that I am back from Black Hat, so we don't really have much else important to talk about. But let's talk about those assholes at Facebook and all the big tech companies complaining about people not doing enough work on today's not so critical updates.
Super excited to have Peter back. Get back in the groove of the show. We just had him for one day last week, but now we're fully back on track. This story is we're a tech and privacy show, but I love the work reform and great resignation stories. Can't get enough. So let's shit on Facebook and Google a little bit here. I guess really tech employers in general. Bottom line is Sundar Pichai at Google and Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook Meta are complaining about the productivity of their workers and thinking that they want to raise the bar to try and chase away some of the slackers. I think we could guess what everybody's opinion is on the panel here.
Yeah. So I heard this referred to on the Twitters this week as quiet quitting. Which is where people are basically doing the minimum required for their job. They're no longer invested in their positions. And I think that, the guys at Google and Facebook are probably right. They're not doing as much. People aren't doing as much as they should be doing, in their opinion. But there's a reason for that.
There is a reason for that. It's called hoarding talent. And they're all guilty of it. They've all been hoarding talent for the last 5+ years. Overestimating their, I can't even call it runway at this point, but the problem, I think the biggest problem that Mark and all of these big CEOs of FAANG companies are now facing is that these guys that you've hired are doing an hour maybe of work a day, really fucking cruising on the fattest of salaries because you didn't want them to go work for the competitor. And now you're looking at your financials, slight downturn, and you're like, wait, we're paying how many hundreds of millions a year to these engineers that aren't actually engineering anything? So while the belly fat might be cut a little bit, that's only a good thing. Releasing this talent to the smaller pools of startups and mid-sized companies.
This is the argument I was making the other day. Isn't it? I swear this is almost word for word what I was saying was a good net effect of the quiet resignation thing, or the great layoff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Freeing up resources. Yeah, to who? Yeah. To whom were you saying this, Peter?
On the show, I was saying, but yeah, hey, at least, yeah, of course you don't, because I think I was arguing against something you were saying at the time. Yeah, exactly. I think that the net effect is going to be that the startups, the people who actually need this talent, are going to be, they'll be released to be able to hire these people.
Yeah, a negative. Mike, I see you're itching to say something. Go ahead.
Just that the other story we talk about a lot is the idea of overemployment. So to your point, John, you've got people who are working maybe an hour a day, potentially could be doing that for 2 or 3 different employers, collecting full-time salaries.
Yep.
And just like Peter said, it was the mouse jiggler story. Is that what you're thinking of, Peter? Did you do that story with us? You don't even know. All right, whatever. I'm not giving you credit.
The last 2 weeks are a blur.
I imagine. It's that game of cat and mouse. The employees are trying to get away with it. The employers are trying to stop them. Make your point, John, and I'll come back to the article for a minute.
I guess my point was that a negative to this talent pool being released is that you fed these guys, these employees really well. They've been eaten at all-you-can-eat buffets of like the food is like Michelin level. And now they're going to have to come to terms when layoffs occur that they are not going to get $300,000 in yearly salaries or total comp.
In other words, what you're saying is, why I'm not getting paid 300 grand anymore. Is that what you're saying, John? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think that it's going to be.
Peter's never wanted to make more money, so he doesn't understand.
Yeah, Peter doesn't like money, which is fine.
That's entirely for Mark, by the way. Just to piss him off.
He's just. My point is, though, that this is a bad thing because what this will drive is potentially foreclosures, really like life-ruining stuff. Because let's say you feel really safe. Facebook's a big company. They're not a startup anymore. You're making $300K a year. You bought a house that you think you're going to be able to pay off, which costs, I don't know, $4,000 a month in your mortgage. And then you don't have income anymore. No matter what, that's 50 grand a year. No matter what, that's $50,000 a year that you have to pay for this mortgage.
Which is
if you
true.
But of course, and that's your mistake. But this is still not good. This isn't a good thing for the person or the real estate market.
Unless you're somebody who, it's true. It's bad for the economy. But if you're paying this on a job that you're essentially not doing, it's hard to have a lot of sympathy for that. But
you're assuming that. Well, we don't know. Just like I'm assuming that this person has a $4,000 mortgage to pay. But really, the point is that there are negatives and positives to both to this. Like, this isn't just a good thing. Releasing the talent to lower levels.
I don't like this balanced approach. Please be more vitriolic. I need some kind of like soapbox, stand on it, start shouting, slag people off. That's what I want. Right. So,
so here's a problem that I have with the article then. I'll just bring it back up on the screen. So both Zuckerberg and Pichai have said similar sentiment, which is Pichai said pushing... there are real concerns that our productivity as a whole is not where it needs to be for the headcount that we have. Zuckerberg says he's noticed that it's getting harder to get all the employees to attend meetings as they're sometimes taking time out in a day for personal work, especially if you're work from home. I think we can all understand that. If you're not work from home, then maybe that's not something that's as directly contributing to the problem. And I don't know where Facebook and Google are in terms of work from home right now. I imagine they're kind of hybrid. But in both cases, Mark said, raising expectations and having more aggressive goals are just kind of turning up the heat a little bit to chase away people who aren't up to the challenge. And Pichai said, pushing staff to work with greater urgency and more hunger than demonstrated on sunnier days. So what I don't like about this is they're not just balanced. So like they're saying we've got too many people. We want to bring that down, but they're also simultaneously saying we want to make the work harder and increase the goals.
Yeah.
That feels a little incompatible. How does that make sense?
Bullshit, man. Bullshit. They're just trying to make money. They're making billions in revenue. As are the employees.
Everybody's trying to make money.
Yeah. It feels like a survival of the fittest type of setup where they're making it very Hunger Gamey, very backstabby.
Yeah.
And that we've seen at Amazon, that doesn't work. When you have a turnover like rate that you want to, when you have a turnover rate that is a goal for managers, that's a fucking problem. When you need to confirm that you fired, like you need to verify to your manager that you fired 5% of your team or something. I forget what the number is. Something's wrong. Yeah. When your meme about your company's corporate culture is PIP, performance improvement plans, which are just setups to get fired, when that's set up to be basically synonymous with working at Amazon corporate as an engineer, something's fucking wrong. Like, so I don't think this is a very good thing for Facebook or Google.
Well, but in between, so we talked about recently with overemployment that if as an employee you can hit your goals, then presumably it's none of the employer's business how long it takes you to do that.
But now it seems like they don't like. Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
On the flip side, if the employer changes the goals, then that's fair as well. I would.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's yes.
Well, I don't know if it's fair. They can do that, but moving the goalpost, right? I finished my work. What should have taken 4 hours took 4 because I'm that good.
You just said what should have taken 4 hours took 4.
40 hours.
40 hours
40. Oh,
took me
right.
4, right? So it took 10% of the actual time that they thought it was going to take. Now they've said, oh, well, you have another 36 hours that we've paid you for. So go ahead and work on all of these other things because you clearly demonstrated how fast you can accomplish one of these things. So now you're going to have to do 10 of them.
Yeah. If I was an
make up for
employer,
it.
I think that would be exactly my position. Yeah.
Right. But if you're an employee, that would not be your position.
I can see that as a manager, that has never been my approach. I've never
do your work.
Yeah, results is what it's all about, and you can increase the results that you expect from someone over time. You can't like double them or whatever, but if someone's doing excellent work, then you can say, "Listen, I think that you should. I'm hoping that you can do more work because you're getting better, and then we will pay you. We'll give you a raise." And that's kind of how the relationship should progress.
It's also possible that employees who are not working are not as clever as they think they are. And because both of these guys are saying like, hey, we know we've got more people. We should be seeing more productivity for the headcount that we've got.
Right.
So
yeah,
they know that employees are underperforming.
Mm-hmm.
I think at a company with such a size as Facebook or Google or Microsoft or Amazon or Apple, they have the resources to really figure out output and to quantify output. And they get to then say, you're doing 60% of what you should be doing. You're taking twice as long as your counterparts.
Yeah. Except the problem is that the people who are doing the calculations are the HR team, and they're part of the problem. They're also only working 10% of the week, and they're not putting they're gaming the system.
Who's auditing them? Right.
Who's watching the watch?
HR is looking at engineering saying, can you believe what these sons of bitches are getting away with over there?
Yeah, right.
Somebody needs to do something about them.
Them.
Over there, other side of the building.
It's just definitely not here.
Here.
That's not the problem. Yeah. I don't know. I genuinely think. Yeah. I think it all comes down to. I think that we should have a cultural shift into long-term planning, long-term stable productivity and project management, and less of a focus on the short-term shit. But I think that means doing away with capitalism, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. So
that's not true, though. That does not do away with capitalism. We've used Japan as so many examples of a capitalist democracy who does things long term, and it works so well for them. They are a powerhouse when we speak of technology, it's true. That's it. Like that's it. And I think that America is so short-sighted, and VCs are so short-sighted. They just look at things for the next quarter or the next year or the next 5 years. That's long term.
That's absolutely true, John. But Japan has its own work culture issues.
100%.
I don't know.
There's no arguing. There's no arguing that Japan has a workaholic issue across the nation. Corporate structure, what's the word? Habits of Japan are not good. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't take the good and replicate just the good.
All right, we should wrap up. I'm just going to step into Mike's podcast daddy shoes here. Podcast daddy, do you like podcast daddy or just podcast dad?
Pod daddy.
Pod daddy.
Call me daddy.
Yeah. P daddy. I don't know. But a quick note though, have you noticed that nobody ever includes Netflix in that FANG?
They're part of it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Facebook, it's not called
Amazon,
FANG anymore.
Apple,
it's called
Netflix,
Mang.
Google, Microsoft. Is it Microsoft? Is the M? There's always variations of it. But
Microsoft's supposed to be in FANG, but it's like it is. I just don't think
it's a silent M.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
FANG.
All right, kids, come on. Let's get to bed. All right, that's enough. Fuck Facebook.
Fuck Facebook.